All right, so in today's video, we're watching a Silver 4 Farah. Actually, Silver 4 Farah, May, and Cassidy. So we're going to see a little bit of variation here. And they want to know, was this game their fault? And what could they have done to win this game? That's what they want to know. So, let's find out. I do want to point out, they also did mention that they did not blame their supports. They said that their supports played well, and not getting healed is more on them because they said that like they were the one that wanted to play a flyer hero. So all right, here we go. I mean, a good start. I mean, the other team's playing kind of into how you want to play that. Be careful, though. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't... So, you had mentioned it yourself that, like, already you recognize you didn't have a Mercy in this comp. So, you need to give it a little bit of time and be, like, almost be patient for a second. What is, like... Okay, so when you get a pick, right? We'll just kind of talk about it here. I won't pause. When you get a pick in Overwatch, what is the one thing that will help the other team? What's the other thing that will help the other team? Just trading a pick and giving them a pick. No, you said not pushing, so here's the thing. Wait, what the heck? Where did that cast come from? So, you said over-aggression, and you said not pushing. So, basically, what you want to do, a lot of the time you get a numbers advantage. And now, keep in mind, it can be very situational. There's certain situations where this will be different. But, if you have a 5v4, okay, just give it a second on your teammates' cooldowns and then go in. Because at that point, yes, the enemy team will have cooldowns, but so will you. And you gotta remember, spawn timers take a while. The other team doesn't have a Mercy. They're not gonna res the pick you got, right? Obviously, that's a little bit different. So when you fly over the top like that, granted, yes, the team hit their shots, but at the same time, just give your teammates a couple seconds. That's it. Give them a couple seconds. Off of Farah right away to May. Okay. I mean, I'm fine with that. I think this is a good swap for you. Because you're not going to have that Mercy to help pocket, which that can make a huge difference when you're playing that hero, so. Good ice block. This team's playing aggressive for now, so. Alright, the cast is absolutely rolling your team right now. Alright, what's the play now? You hear the cast to your left, so what are you going to do here? What's your play? There's a cast behind you. You can hear the cast. I'm not even seeing it on the replay, and I can hear that cast. Okay, the Reinhardt, that's exactly what I was expecting to happen. A Reinhardt charges and kills the cast in the flank. Be careful here. Remember, they do have cleanse, but a good Mail, I'm okay with here. Actually, they might have used cleanse. Actually, no, they used cleanse and they TP'd. Even a better ult than I'd expected. Nice job. Good job. You can use your ice block here if you want to get some ult charge, too. You don't have to, they're not going to be able to retake them. Like, actually, no. In hindsight, the Sigma's there, so should be fine, though. See, that though, like, right there, though, kind of showcased you what I was talking about, where your team... You didn't feed in automatically. You used your ice block, and like technically you were feeding, but you weren't because you have ice block. But now you have time for your team to regroup and be able to help you. When you went over the top as Farah there, it just wasn't going to be ideal. Here we go. Big slam. Pretty good target priority, actually. I like that you went for the Ayari. Obviously, you could try to go for, like, the right-click headshot there, but, like, I like that you had good target priority. That was good. Rather than just, like, holding left-click on the Sigma, I can guarantee you if I was on May, I'd be holding left-click on that Sigma. Not because it's the right play, because that's what I would do. Because if I'm playing May, I'm just holding left-click for fun. So, I'm fine with that one. Okay, so, I want to point something out here. Outside of you randomly staying AFK in the cart, let's talk about this very quickly. You're playing May, all right? What is something that one of May's strength is? You have the ability to kind of like cut their team off, prevent them from going somewhere. Instead, you all stand on the cart and you just sit there, right? So rather than pushing up and getting a good Mei wall, you sit on the cart, go AFK, and then they get a pick on your Junkrat. You can easily deny some part of this map. Do they go out this doorway? Walled off. Did they go out here? Split their team. Did they go this way? Split their team. Now you have that map control and your team can pop off. But that team also isn't necessarily going to push up with you if you're just sitting in the back line. I know your Ryan's just holding the shield here, but it's good to get in the habit of understanding you want to do that. If your teammates are like, no, let's hold cart, that's fine. But just sitting on the cart AFK is just not what you want to do there. Anyway. You're gonna get ulted here. This might be a tough one. It depends if they hit the shot. Yeah. Nothing you can do about that one. That was just an early ice block and a really, really good reaction by their teammate also. In my opinion, that was also a really good reaction. So I think that was one of those situations where their team played that well. Your ice block was a little bit early. Keep in mind, Mei is actually getting nerfed soon, too. 120 ammo instead of 150. All right, here we go. Let's see. So what is your play here? What are you going to do with your Mei wall? What can you do with your Mei wall here? Right there. Mei wall that, Mei wall that, Mei wall that, Mei wall. I mean, listen. Your Mei wall was right here, but you know what I'll say? You had the right idea, but just do that in general. Like, just try to Mei wall right here, because that's going to help your team get across. Now, in theory, in hindsight, yeah, your Ryan can help you, but even I do this thing on tanks sometimes where, how do I explain it? I think everybody's on the same timing as me when I'm crossing over, so I kind of will, like, rotate my cooldowns or my shield, thinking that everybody crosses. So sometimes, if you're on a hero that can help with that, as Mei, you can wall that off, and that's good. Like, you're like, well, you won't have Mei wall. You'll have Mei wall by the time your real team engagement happens. At the very least, you have a Mei ult if you need it. And you have a Shattered. Like, not a Shatter, a Tire. So, like, you're in a good spot. Be careful. Your team is... Don't run in the middle. Stay over... Don't... I mean, I guess the cast was there, but be careful. Good wall. Great wall now. Okay. You should have this now. Yep, easy. All right. Now, that's a great ult timing for two reasons. One, they cleanse. You win that, though. That's a great ult. Nice job. Good ultimate. But still, that is, in my opinion, is what you, like, why getting your team across there is going to be a better overall play for your team, but instead it turns into this scuffed team fight. Also, going randomly AFK, I think it's like the 4th time that's happened, is also not as ideal. And I know, like, it was only a couple seconds. Sometimes even that, right? And we all have those moments, right? But, like, sometimes if you do it, may not get to a team fight in time. Maybe not right there. I have it sometimes where, like, I'll be, you know, a second late to something, right? Big slam. I respect you going for the pylon. Now get a good Mei wall here. Then that is a Mei wall. And that's a step in the right direction. Good ice block. I was going to say, I hope you ice block after they ult you rather than before. Okay. Nice shot. Good play. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of Overwatch happening on my screen. Use the ping system. Ping that cast. You need to ping them for your teammates because, like, sometimes not everybody will be in voice chat. Sometimes, like, the ping system allows for you to let your teammates know there's a Cassidy and a Kiriko flanking you, right? So at that point, use your ping button, right? Ping. Okay. Hey, nice shots. That was a good play. Get rid of the pylon if you see it. Nice job. Okay, now I want to see you use a Mei wall to block off some of their... Okay, let's talk about this for a second because this is just Wolfie Dub, thanks to the 2 gifted. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so I do see people mention the jumping part of it, like when you jump around the map a lot. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that. It's not the best habit you want to have in Overwatch to keep jumping around. I do it all the time when I play. Like, you'll come by the stream and be like, "Wait, you talk about how jumping around the map isn't the best thing." Oh, absolutely not. But I still do it because I like to hit buttons. But yeah, I mean, if you can limit that to a little bit less than what we're seeing, great. But like, you are once again playing Mei, okay? You need to use the strength of what this Mei wall can do for your team, even if you still get rolled in this situation. Now the Ayari has to use a cooldown. See, the Ayari has to use a cooldown, has to go to a smaller doorway. Like, there's multiple ways for you to get value from that Mei wall without even having to do anything outside of that Mei wall. Now, obviously, you have your ultimate going off, etc. Like, it could result in a good play for your team, and it probably will based on how long this is. But the point I'm trying to make is that, like, in order for you to... Actually, wait, did your ult even go off? Like, in order for you to get, like, full value from Mei, you need to be ready to go and just block off a doorway. How does your team get this point? Oh, they just don't get on the point. Even better. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Song time? I mean, I kind of missed it, but you know what? We can play the song for everybody. Why not? Hey, you know what? It's all... If people enjoy the song, let's have some fun with it. Why not? Let's have some fun. So anyway, just to point out again, like, you really need to find that value with your walls. You're just kind of, yeah. You're just kind of like, I don't know. Be careful of your position in here. Keep in mind you also were down a teammate, if I saw correctly. Or was that the other team? That was the other team. Never mind. You're good. Sorry, the other team was down. I get confused sometimes when, like, it's the blue and the red team. Be careful here, by the way. I'll see how this goes, but you are playing very aggressive to the point where, like, your teammates are going to have to spend so many cooldowns on you when you do that, that sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. And I want you to sometimes look at some of these plays that you're doing. You're going to have risk-reward plays, right? But I feel like there's so much more risk to that play that you just did than the reward you'll get from that play, right? Like, it's okay to have those type of plays, but like what you're doing right now is guaranteeing a quick trip back to spawn shortly. They're not getting you, but like that type of play style will eventually have you sent back to spawn. Unless the other team just isn't. You're gonna run out of. Here you go. You're gonna be on the ground now. You're a ground Farah. I am actually baffled it's still working, but I guess, wait, no, all right, whatever, you know what, it's working. Big slam? That's a pulse bomb?
Did you know Bengal cats were called safari cats until the 1970s when their name was changed to reflect the Asian leopard cat's scientific name, which is Prionaurus bengalensis.
I'm gonna be honest with you, this has been a quite the start to you on Farah. And what I've noticed about your playstyle, I think I have a way to describe your playstyle. Because I think you could benefit from... I'm gonna watch it a little bit more. Big slam. Your HP. You're seven. What in the? See, now you have to force out a res in your team. You're gonna ult, which is gonna be a good ult. That's a good ult. But like, I can't believe that you actually managed to be here for 3 minutes. Like, eventually they're gonna get you here and they're gonna snowball your team the rest of the way. Apparently the Reaper decides to... Okay, what? This is what I mean, though, okay? Like, you're playing well, right? Your team's playing well. You're getting all this value. And then you just do that. And you've been doing that the whole time, which is why I was really confused as to why they weren't getting you to begin with initially, right? Like, look at that. You see how you played that one? You gotta absolutely roll doing that. And like, that's why I would rather see you play a little bit further back, kind of in that middle where you were, and just spam the area, be aggressive when you have numbers, but don't go in front line and do what you just did right there. Because what we just watched was like, that playstyle will work sometimes, other times this is the point of view you're gonna have the whole time. You get what I'm saying? Alright, there's a way to describe your playstyle right now. And I've seen it on May, and I've seen it on other heroes, and I think it's time, chat. It's time. We have to... They don't want to have to do this, but... We need to talk about this. So this is your current playstyle. And this has become an issue, right? And I will show up on the screen here shortly, don't you worry. Here's the issue that we're seeing right now. Basically, your playstyle has no rhyme or reason to it, okay? Your playstyle is essentially this. You go into a team fight, okay? As you can see, the green screen quality is as good as it gets, all right? You go into a team fight, and you have 3 options. You have, they're in front of me, I'm gonna spam them out. Great. You have option number 2, you're gonna take an off angle, okay? Kind of take an off angle, spam them out. Option number 3, right? You're gonna play kind of in the middle, a little bit, don't have to spam them, kind of zone out areas. You've gone with option number 4, which is, where are they at? Where are they? Where are they at? Are they over? Oh, they're over here. 1 second, I'm going this. Oh, this way. 1 second, I'm going. Oh, wait a second. They're over. Oh, over here. Oh, let's go. All right, they're back here now. Okay. I'm going this. They're over here. Okay. Here I come. Oh, we're down 2. I'm gonna ult you. And then you're back in spawn. So you need to find more structure to how you're playing the game, right? Because if you keep playing like that, you're gonna fall over, you're gonna go back to spawn. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. But if you get out of the habit of doing that, it's okay to play aggressive, but it's all about picking the correct timings. So you can improve in that way. Back to you. I wish there was a way to like be able to. Oh, ooh, look at that. You see that? Ooh. You do have a Mercy too, by the way. So like you have the ability to really get this value with like Farah Mercy, right? Here we go. Basically what I'm trying to get at is your play style is you kind of go all in a lot of the time, and in reality you can play aggressive. You just need to like almost tone it down a little bit and just pick your timings better. You're just kind of all over the place. And we'll see that. You'll see. You'll just start going everywhere. You're going, oh, over here now? Okay, sweet. A Soldier 76 with ult. What a treat. Like, you have your play style, you have no rhyme or reason to what you're doing. And we're seeing that. Right now, your focus will be on this Reaper for now. Force out the cooldown. That's what you're going to worry about. Chat, we get some blanking for Emborg with the 5 gifted. Thank you, Emborg. Appreciate it. You with the 5 gifted. Yeah, I mean, like the thing is like as Junkrat you can spam, right? Where do you want to look right now? What is your... Okay, you know the Reaper went there, but then you were in the middle of the open while... Okay, so this is what I mean, okay? You saw the Reaper go here. You're right over here, okay? Why are you sitting in the middle of the open in their sight lines like this to get the Reaper over here? You have mobility, you go this way. And now you have an angle to be able to help with that Reaper, right? And also be able to spam main. Instead, you're just like, hey, I'm going to sit in the middle of the open while trying to get the Reaper. And that's what I mean, like, you don't know where you want to go, you're kind of all over the place with that, so you gotta, like, really adjust that positioning, you know? Pause it one more time. Somebody in the chat said, yeah, but they lost their Pocket Mercy. But that doesn't change the positioning you're in, but where you're playing from, right? You can still spam middle, right? And also spam this doorway from an angle that's not in front of their team. To where nobody's gonna help you, and it's gonna end up getting your Mercy out of position trying to save you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to think about that, especially when you're running the Farah Mercy too. You need to also... Oh, you said that... Oh, I see what you're saying. You said the Mercy switched. Just to add to that, though, when you have a Farah Mercy, right? And people can comment on this too. Like, when you play out of position as Farah, a lot of the time it will put your Mercy out of position too, right? Because if you're just playing way too aggressive and your Mercy's trying to stick with you, sometimes you'll get your Mercy out of position by just playing that way. I don't mind this. I don't mind this play. Just don't show yourself. I actually like what you're... What was the plan there? And this is why I really think that when you watch this back, you'll start to see that, like, you're just very indecisive on what you want to do. And that's what we're seeing right now. You're just being super indecisive. And that can happen, right? Like, even when I'm in top 500 games, you're going to be indecisive sometimes. But you're consistently doing that throughout this game. In my games, I'll have times where I'm indecisive, and I'll be like, okay, I need to figure out what I want to do, rather than just do what you just did. You could have hit right there. I'm not even kidding you. It would have been an okay play if you just hit right there for a little bit and they came over the flank.
Let's work together.
Okay, you're listen, your team isn't even engaging them yet, right? So if you go walk in front of them like that, you're gonna get rolled. The best time to use that ultimate, and keep in mind, like, it's not like I play Farah a ton, but I play against Farahs, and the best time that they ult me is either when they're hidden, right? They're in a spot where they're hidden, they're really high up in the air at like an angle you can't see, or your team engages and you have to worry about more things than a Farah right in front of your face, right? Those three things are usually what you're gonna have to do. Go to that point, please. Oh, they got up. You actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're so lucky that chat, I don't think you understand what just happened right there, okay? So for people who don't know how this works, I've explained it a few times, but like it's you know, a lot of new players to Overwatch and etc. So basically the way it works is this. If there was a minute on the clock right there, a minute on the clock, you would have had no time. But they got off the cart and it went down to 58 seconds, which gives you a minute. So just to give everybody an idea here, if there's a minute on maps like this, right, where you have it's at the hybrid maps, if there's a minute on the clock or above, and your team has 0 on the clock from the previous round, you will not get an attack. That team will get 1 minute, and it's either going to be a win, it's either going to be a draw or a loss. You have no opportunity. If it's 59 seconds or below, you will then have a minute added to the clock, and so will the other team. So that Soldier 76 or somebody got off the card in their team, and that was the 2-second difference of your team having an attack right now. So I just wanted to kind of show what happened there and why sometimes you'll have an attack, and sometimes you can only play defense. And that's also, people are always like, you can draw in Overwatch? That's one way you would draw, yes. Oh yeah, because sometimes people will be like, yeah, like, I know that, why are you mentioning that? Because you gotta remember, like, Overwatch is a free-to-play game that will have a lot of new players, and players who just started playing Overwatch too, or are gonna start playing tomorrow, because it's a game that people try. So putting out that information out there about like how that works with timings can be important, right? Because somebody could watch this and be like, oh, wait a second, I didn't even know that, because I've been new to Overwatch, right? So it's always good to bring that type, even though it can be like a basic tip or how that stuff works, it's still good to have that there, right? Or if you only play quick play, for example, true. And then you go to rank for the first time. Yeah, exactly. Good call. Okay, Gustavo, thanks for the gift this up. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Oh, also, I forgot to thank. All right, so what's your play? Remember last time you got an early pick because they played aggro, right? And then you went over the top and gave them a free pick. I agree. That is something that is a good point. A lot of the time you're landing right in front of them. If you're gonna land to the ground because you're out of like cooldowns, you're not able to stay up in the air, like do it at like an angle where they can't get to you, right? Uh-oh. Okay. But you know what though? I want to point something out. I was worried about that play. I was worried about that play initially. But why was this a good play in comparison to what we've seen before? What was the difference this time around? A lot of chat got this one correct. The team was engaging. So what happened? They were worried about other things. You get what I'm saying? So because you went at the same time that your team engaged, they had to worry about multiple things. Now, in hindsight, yeah, could they have turned around and got you? Yes. But this is a much better play for you and the much better timing, which is why I say, if you can pick and choose your timings in this aggressive playstyle you want to play, you'll see much better results. It's as simple as your teammates engaging. Your team was in, they didn't even look at you. Free picks for you, great job. You said he accidentally engaged on that, but that's still why we point that out, to show you why that's a good engagement, right? It's good to show, like, and this is my opinion whenever I do, like, spectating, and obviously, like I said, spectating is a lot of about the entertainment aspect of it, but, like, from the teaching side of things, I think it's always good to point out both of the good play and the bad play, because then, like, you can understand what the good plays are, and you can continue to do those good plays when you have them, and you can also understand what the not so good plays are, and you can learn from those, and then continue to improve on those, right? I think it's good to show both sides of that rather than just, like, I don't know. That's how I do it, at least. So what's your play here? You don't have to stand on cart. This is if your team is relying on Farah to stay on cart, okay, your team's engaging a little bit. You have an advantage here, but I don't want you to overfeed this. I don't want you to overfeed this. You can go in now. You can go in now, but don't give that. There you go. Nice disengage. Now there is a soldier up there, but you just, there you go, using cover, disengage in an aggressive play. You know, unlucky. I'm still happy with your play. You know, the thing is, I'm still happy with that. I'm still fine with that. Didn't get healed during that, right? But, like, I still think you made the correct disengagement. You wouldn't even have had the opportunity to get flanked by a Reaper if you didn't do that. Do not ult this yet. Yet. Do not ult this. Do not ult this. Be careful here. Overtime spawns. I know that, like, you're going to win the team fight. Okay, so I want you to get out of the habit of dropping down onto the floor to face tank one of their heroes. You keep doing it. Stop doing that. You can get close to them, but you're legitimately landed on the floor in front of their team face tanking. Set up for a Farah ult now. Hide. Set up for an ult. Don't try to go in front of them and just ult. Just hide. Just hide. You keep gravitating to the floor. Like, you're like, you know what? I need to go to this ground right here and make this play. And if I don't, I'm going to be upset if I don't. So, like, you need to readjust how you're playing that strategy. I'm telling you, you'll see improvement. In those Farah ult situations, and Chad, I do want to point out, but before we go to, like, that side of things, like, I do want to point out, that was going to be a difficult Farah ult to begin with. The other team was going to have a bunch of ultimates. More than likely, that team was going to win. But you also want to put yourself in a good position to at least try to get a good value with that ultimate. Playing on the high ground, hiding for a couple seconds, going in, make a play. And just see what happens, right? At that point, that's what you're going to do. But you need to time it a little bit better. Anyway, let's head back to you on Bastion here. I mean, imagine on the opposite high ground. I mean, in theory, yes. I don't know if they would have got there without being seen. But at the same time, I give you a counter argument to that. If you go to the other high ground and they see you, they have something to worry about now, and they may not be able to make that same play, right? So, all right. So I also want to, one thing I want to talk about is, and this is going to, as you climb in ranks, this reaction to one person going on the point will start to shift a bit more. So I also want, like, it doesn't, right now in, like, Silver, it's going to happen. Like, at times, like, that type of stuff is going to happen, right? But there's this thing where if one person goes to the point, you do not have to give up your positioning to go back for that person on the point. You just got to try to communicate, like, I'll go, this hero will contest the point. At the same time, I think that may not happen in Silver as much. So, like, you gave up good position in there to try to go help with a Sombra who was not going to be able to get that point to begin with. And then they get map control just like that without having to do anything. I don't mind the cast walk here, by the way. This is actually a nice job. I was going to say this is a good pick actually against the Sombra because you can hinder the Sombra now a little bit easier than before. So I actually do like the swap by you. Nice swap. A much better pick than Farah in this situation. It's okay if you lose this. Big slam! It's okay to lose that team fight. All right? Listen, I'd rather have you get rolled right there. Your Junkrat is staggering hard. I would not be surprised to see a Junkrat on the kill feed in about 5 seconds. Actually, they just turned away from him. Ryan's going in. So, chat, this is why when we talk about, like, don't run to the point over and over again, in overtime, this is why. Your team is doing this now. You have not given your team has not given yourself a 5v5. Your team keeps running in. There's overtime spawns, so for anybody who doesn't know about overtime spawns, I think add like an extra 3 seconds or so to your spawn. It's a much longer spawn. Big slam! Your team is now over ulting in. Maybe you'll win this. Maybe you'll get a good high noon and this Reinhardt swinging their shield in front of you. No, you killed the Kiriko. That's who I expected you to get. Your team is now fed, going in. Instead of taking 2 really good team fights, your team has taken 1 really long bad team fight. And you are now back away. Back away. Don't. You have time. Wait on your team. What? This is what I mean. You can't. It happens so much, and I see this, and I'm trying. I keep bringing it up a lot and spectating. Overtime spawn does not directly mean you run to the cart over and over again, 1 by 1. Okay? Think about this. Even when you are in like you're playing it normally, you're not going to want to run to the cart 1 by 1. So in overtime, you're going to have less team fights to begin with. Running to the cart most of the time in overtime will not create more team fights for your team because you have longer spawns. That's why I talk about it all the time. So you notice how sometimes a team with no time will beat a team with 3 minutes? It's because they actually have less team fights that are happening when they push that cart in overtime when you have more time. Because the spawns are a lot longer. So you're having less team fights per point. So your team just didn't want to regroup. Your team just decided you were gonna sit there and you were gonna play aggressive. And at no point did your team get an actual good team fight. So, just to summarize here, when you're on Farah, you really need to work on how you play that hero, your position. I want you on any hero you're playing to start focusing on. Don't just run all over the place in circles and just keep going back and forth. Stop going on the front line when you're not tanking. Stop, like, landing on the ground in front of them as Farah. Start improving on those things, and you're going to see improvement to begin with. And like, we just kind of saw you make that same play over and over again. I think if you can improve on that and pick your timings, keep in mind, pick your timings. It's okay to play aggressive. I play aggressive in Overwatch. You have to pick your timings, though. You just don't do it constantly over and over again because sometimes it's going to work, as it did in the first 2 minutes of your defense, and then sometimes you're going to get rolled. And that's where we're at with that one, all right? Also, you asked if this was your fault that you lost? Not necessarily. I mean, could you have played better? Absolutely. This is more of a team effort. I chalk this up to more of a team effort. And I'm not saying that you could have definitely played a lot better, but I think overall, I mean, this overtime alone was kind of proof that, like, your team was just running it 1 by 1, right? If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, sub to all 3 YouTubes if you have a lot of awesome videos on there. If you want to submit your own spectate, look in the description below. A lot of stuff on the description below. Make sure to follow all that. But my Discord's there, and that's where you would submit replay codes that might possibly be recorded and on YouTube or for bingo. Record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch chat right there. Be sure to stop by. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day/night.